Hi everyone, welcome to Malia Hotel. We are now standing right outside DPRK leader Kim Jong Un's hotel right here in downtown Hanoi. Behind me, that gray building with the red stripes, you can see that is the Malia Hotel where Kim Jong Un is staying. Our cameraman, please send hand there a little bit to let people see more clearly. But that is the place where Kim Jong Un is staying. And we are now all expecting Kim Jong Un to come out in just a few minutes. Actually, we already have the schedule here. U.S. President Donald Trump will leave his hotel at around 8:25. That's according to the schedule released by the White House. Yesterday, we were also waiting here to see that historic moment of Kim Jong Un moving out of his hotel to see U.S. President Donald Trump for the very first time here in Hanoi, second time in history, after last June's historic summit in Singapore. It's a bit noisy here on the street. People are in a hurry in the morning rush hour. Now they are about to have the traffic cordon because of the safety issues. So I think everyone is in a hurry going to work on time. And here, there's been a lot of interesting stuff happening. I think you already saw in my 1-minute short video about that guy imitating Kim Jong Un. Actually, normally when we cover a story like this, it's more or less like boring politics, like diplomacy, people in suit and tie, meeting and talking some political rhetorics. But this time, it's been very fun that people treat them less as a politician, but more as a celebrity. So there are a lot of paparazzi kind of reporting to see that, like Kim's car is moving, like there's something popping up from the hotel. So there's a lot of mystery, around Kim Jong Un. And of course, for Donald Trump, he's already quite a popular guy on media. People all want to see whether there's more dramatic rhetorics coming out of from the U.S. president. So a lot of interesting things. And here we can have a little bit look at what people are doing. The media persons have been gathering here since very early in the morning. All of them are trying to find the best position. The day before yesterday, there are much more people here, and today we think people have been sticking around at the hotel of Metropole, where Kim and Trump will soon meet. So today, less media here, but we can still see a lot of presence of the media outlets. And more interestingly, we can see that there are a lot of ordinary people who are standing here. For them, the traffic cordon seems more like, of course, it may disrupt the traffic a little bit. For those people who are in a hurry going to work, we can see a lot of them on the street. But for some other people, it's quite a moment for them to stay here and have a look at what is going on. And they are just so eager to take a glimpse on that historic moment of Kim moving out of his hotel. Yesterday we saw a Korean reporter, of course a South Korean reporter, who was doing a live streaming here, and he spent like 20 minutes talking. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but I can see that he's running out of words. Just waiting for Kim's car to move out of the hotel. So that is a very interesting thing for many online internet users to take a look, just to wait with us to see how Kim's car is moving out. Today we are also waiting for that historic moment, and hopefully we are able to see that, because according to the schedule now, Trump will leave at 8:25 from his hotel. Yesterday, Kim was 15 minutes later than Trump. Yesterday, Trump left his hotel at around 6 p.m. and Kim Jong-un moved at 6:15 sharp. So today, whether Kim will be again 15 minutes later, or they might be coming out of the hotel at almost the simultaneous time, we're going to take a look and see. So please wait with us for that historic moment, if we can catch that moment in less than 20 minutes here. And to see more about what is going on here, we have a special guest joining us, Miss Lin, who is Mrs. Lin, already married, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she just told me about a lot of things about her family. Mrs. Lin is a local resident here. She speaks very good English because we try to talk more with the local residents about what is going on here and how they look at this issue. But most of them speak Vietnamese. which is very hard, I have to say, very hard for foreigners, even for Chinese people who are very close to Vietnam, to really learn that language. So luckily we have someone who speaks English. Lin, can you tell us a little bit more about how you guys look at this historic moment? Because it's a very few chance for Hanoi to witness such an important part of human history. It might change the course of human history, right?
Thank you so much. My name is Lin. I was born here in Hanoi. I grew up here. So it's really interesting to see the changes, with Vietnam and with Hanoi in general, that we have received more and more leaders from the world to come and doing all the important stuff like this.
There might be a lot of them, politicians, diplomats coming into your city. It's the capital anyway. But what about these two? And the two of the most eye-catching leaders of around the world, right?
Yes. So this is very. We are happy. We are very excited to see Kim Jong Un. A very mysterious guy, and we also see welcome Mr. Donald Trump like the second time.
Have you got a chance to see him in person yet so far?
No. But like we saw the motorcades of these two leaders for the last 2 days, and it was really exciting to see them here. Especially,
I think sometimes when politicians are moving out, they blockaded the traffic, and it may make people late when they're going to work.
Yeah.
But what about these two? I think it's very different because some people even wait here just to take a look, right? Is it more like less of a disruption but more of an excitement?
Yeah. Some of us we discuss about it a lot. So we see like, okay, this is something disruptive of our daily life. But at the same time, we feel like we participate in something important. So everybody is happy about that, seeing the important event taking place in our hometown, in our city, and seeing that the whole world is looking at us as a city that is hosting the event.
What does it mean for your city hosting such a big event?
It means that we can show to the world that our city is a peace city, and it is safe here.
That is very important.
Very important.
Why?
People here are very friendly. We welcoming everybody in the world to come and then share the peace of the city, and showing the image of the streets, of the people here.
This is very interesting because we think about it. Vietnam was a war-torn country 30 years ago. The Vietnam War was very horrible. And it was actually taken part by the United States as well. Here in Hanoi, I think you are young, but for people who are older than 30 years old, they might even witness U.S. aircraft dropping bombs into Hanoi. So it's very dangerous, deadly bombardment. And just 30 years later, Vietnam rose to become one of the most prominent emerging economy here. What do you think about that?
That's true. So I think like so many people, when they think about Vietnam, they think about the war, the Vietnam War. But we have more than that, and the younger generation really they don't really think about the past, the war anymore. They think about the future, and we want to show the world that we have much more than the Vietnam War that people talk about like 30 years ago.
So, if you think about it, the U.S. used to be in war with Vietnam. It was a very bitter war. We saw many stories about ordinary people being killed by the U.S. Army. There should be a lot of hatred, according to our understanding. But it seems that Vietnamese people just love America these days, and they want to see U.S. President Donald Trump, not just because he's a bit controversial on media. People just want to see him. Probably more like Kim Jong Un. It's very different for your emotions to Trump and to Kim Jong Un, right?
Yeah, I think. Maybe the thing is that like Vietnamese people, they are very tolerant, right? Like my parents, people from their generation, when we talk about Americans, we feel like, okay, so they are our friends now. they're not like the enemy who dropped the bombs like 30 or 40 years ago. But so like when we talk about the Americans, about Donald Trump, we feel like, okay, we want to be friends with them, and we are happy that North Korean will also become friends, you know, like make more friends with countries in the world.
Just one moment, because behind us we can see the traffic blockade is already happening. Can you see us? Yeah, it's already happening, and just now there were very busy traffic behind me. They were taking last minute to have this time to pass through so that they can go to work on time and not be blamed by their bosses. But now it seems that they are blockading the whole traffic, and the policemen look quite serious. And I think it's might be time for Kim to move out anytime soon, right? So how do you feel now?
I'm excited.
Excited?
Yeah, I really want to see him. I know that he's gonna sit inside the car, but it's interesting.
Yeah, just for one piece of information, it's a bulletproof Mercedes-Benz, and we saw it several times already because we've been sticking around here for several days already. I even caught a glimpse of that with me during the stand-up, which has been played again and again on CGTN, which is a bit embarrassing for me because there's nothing about journalistic value, but more about me. But it's an important time for me personally to get personally close to Kim Jong Un. That's the closest distance between me and Kim Jong Un. Although, just like you, I didn't see him. Now you are about to get that close with a mysterious leader. How do you feel?
I feel lucky actually because we try to find out where he is, you know, what he's gonna do in Hanoi. We wonder if he wants to try some Vietnamese food on the street.
What is the best Vietnamese food you would recommend to him?
Bún
I think
chả.
Obama has something.
Yeah, Obama has bún chả, and maybe
How do you call that?
bún chả.
Bún chả.
So it's like a noodles with
typical
pork,
language,
barbecue pork. So maybe I would suggest him trying that one. Offer the noodles, the.
So far, I think Kim hasn't even moved out and do any sightseeing yet. I think he's very busy because according to the DPRK media, Kim Jong Un has been hearing reports from the DPRK delegations about their latest negotiations with the Americans about denuclearization issues. So I think it's a very serious moment, at least before he can meet with US President Donald Trump. Yesterday, for the whole day, Trump has been very busy selling Boeing aircrafts to Vietnam, selling 100 Boeing aircrafts to the Vietnamese yesterday. It was a very big trade deal. But Kim Jong Un has been very silent. He stayed inside his hotel, at least according to the media report, for the whole day. So I think there must be a lot of preparation from the DPRK side. And now he's about to come out, and I think it's still time for him about seriousness. But starting from tomorrow, March the 1st, according to media report, and also according to the official confirmation from the DPRK, they will have this so-called official goodwill visit, that's called by the DPRK government, official goodwill visit with Vietnam. It's the very first time that that Kim Jong Un is meeting with Vietnamese politicians. How do you think about this bilateral ties between Vietnam and Kim Jong Un? Is it different from U.S. DPRK summit?
I personally think that Kim Jong Un, he's been always staying in his country, and now he came out, and Vietnam is one of the first countries that he's visiting. So it's interesting that way. I also think that we have some kind of similarities. Both communist countries, and this is something that Vietnam is like a connection, you know, to connect North Korea to the world as like brothers.
Both communist countries, and both Vietnam and DPRK were in bitter wars with the United States.
Yes.
The Korean War in 1950s and the Vietnam War in 1970s, right? But today, apparently, Vietnam and the DPRK took on very different paths.
How do you comment on that?
Different path, you mean?
The different path. I mean, today Vietnam has become a very prosperous country, very thriving,
Yeah.
and DPRK has been more or less isolated because of the sanctions, because of the pursuit of nuclear weapons, right?
Yes. So at the end of the day, like we want people to be happy, to be wealthy, to have to be open to the world, and Vietnam has been very successful about that. We feel happy here in our country. We travel the world like young generation. That is why I think North Korea can totally go following that path, and we want to see more about North Korea.
Yeah, that is actually the so-called Vietnam model between that Trump has been suggesting to DPRK. Actually, the very first tweet Trump sent out after he arrived here in Vietnam is that he wants the DPRK. He said the DPRK can be just as thriving as Vietnam today because they share a lot of similarity in history, as I said. But today, they took on different paths, and Trump hoped to use your country as an example to tell Kim Jong Un that you could do the same. Is it the same feeling shared by people in Vietnam?
Yes.
Yes or no? Yes and no.
I mean, like yes. I mean, like we're proud of our model, so we don't really have to go. I mean, North Korea, they can do their own way, but this is an example to show them that Vietnam is developing so fast, and that is why, yeah, I can see that North Korea can do exactly the same. Yeah.
Okay, for our audiences who just tuned in, we are waiting for Kim Jong Un's motorcade moving out of his hotel and have this historic meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump. Now, traffic blockade looks very serious, but we can still see students, cute pupils, moving back and forth. Actually, right to the next block is a very famous school, according to Lynn. She just told me. There is a very famous high school here,
right?
And it's a very it's a place where many kids are going to school today. And now it's a morning rush hour here, and even if there is this traffic blockade, we are still waiting. We can still see that ordinary people can move freely outside the blockade. So it's a very good opportunity for people to get really close, like Lynn just said, to get really close to that motorcade, just 1 or 2 meters away from the car that Kim Jong Un will be taking and passing through this street to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump. And we are waiting for that moment. But there's some unfortunate thing I have to share with you, because we are having a TV live, according to our assignment, at around 9:35, which is the local time 8:35. Now it's already 8:31, according to our cameraman. He's been showing clocks to me again and again, telling me that I need to wrap up. So it's a pity that because we have some other assignments, you might not be able to see us, to see Kim Jong Un's car moving out on our live streaming, but it doesn't mean that we're not covering it. Please stay tuned with CGTN on TV, and you're going to see that moment of Kim's car moving outside his hotel, but probably without me because I'm doing some other assignments. But you will be able to see that because CGTN is having this full-time coverage of every single movement of Kim Jong Un and U.S. President Donald Trump here in Hanoi. This is a historic moment. Last time in Singapore, they had the historic handshake, one of the most significant handshake after the Second World War. And today, they're having a second summit, and we are looking for not just some made-for-TV stuff in the summit, but some really concrete push towards denuclearization and the possible signing of a peace treaty. Because, very interestingly, the two leaders are still technically at war after 7 decades of the Korean War, which happened in the 1950s. So we'll see what's going to happen for the full day, and please stay tuned with CGTN to see more of us. Bye-bye.